Quick, Daniel muttered as he shoved his parents toward the cliff's edge. Martha and James Reynolds tumbled into the ravine, breathless but alive. Lying broken against the rocks, James gripped his wife's hand and whispered, "Pretend we're dead." And when Daniel bragged about his inheritance, he never saw his parents walk back into the lawyer's office. I'm curious, where in the world are you joining us from? Drop your city or country in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed for all the latest updates. Family trips heal wounds until they cut deeper. The mountain air was thinner than I remembered, crisp, laced with pine and melting snow. Birds chirped overhead, and the Colorado sun cast long shadows over the trail as we hiked in single file, Jason leading, Robert and I following close behind. Jason turned his head over his shoulder, grinning. "Come on, Mom. It's right up here. You've got to see the drop. It's incredible." I nodded, breathless from both the altitude and the moment. Jason, our only child, 35 now, married, successful, or so we thought. This trip was his idea. A healing getaway, he'd said. Just the three of us, like old times. Robert chuckled behind me. "Let's hope there's a bench at the top or your mother's turning around." I elbowed him lightly and smiled. Says the guy who used to carry a tool belt like a second spine. Jason laughed. "Just 10 more feet, trust me." We followed. The view from the cliff was breathtaking, a sheer drop into a green and gold valley below, stretching endlessly like a painting. The wind whipped stronger here, lifting strands of my hair into my eyes. I reached for Robert's hand. Jason stood close to the edge, hands in his jacket pockets. "Beautiful, right?" "It really is," I said softly. Then Jason turned. His eyes were different. Flat, calculating. He stepped toward us, close, too close. "You guys always said you wanted to go together," he murmured. I frowned. "What?" And then he shoved. The world spun. My scream never fully escaped. Rocks tore at my arms. Air ripped past my ears. The sky flipped sideways. And then, impact. Pain exploded through my shoulder. My hips slammed into jagged stone. I rolled, tumbled, then slammed to a stop against a cold outcrop, chest heaving, face scraped raw. I gasped, blinking against the sun. Then I saw him, Robert, a few feet below, motionless, blood seeping from his temple. I scrambled, groaning, crying, down the incline. Every bone felt shattered, every breath a struggle. "Robert," I choked out, crawling toward him. His eyes fluttered. "Linda." Relief cracked inside me like thunder. I thought, "Oh, God, don't move, don't move." He grabbed my wrist, firm, intentional. "Listen," he whispered, voice shredded with pain. "Pretend we're dead." I stared at him. "What?" His eyes flicked up the cliff. Above us, footsteps, crunching, pausing. "Jason, our son." He grips her hand, whispering, "Pretend we're dead." Sometimes survival begins with silence. I held my breath, limbs twisted among rocks and pine needles, my body screaming in pain. But I didn't move. Not a flinch, not even a blink. Robert's fingers clutched mine, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth, his chest barely rising. His whisper still echoed in my ears. "Pretend we're dead." Above us, Jason's boots scuffed the dirt edge. A stone clattered down, bouncing just feet from my head. I shut my eyes tight, praying the shadows hit us well enough. Then, his voice, calm, cold. "It's done." I forced myself not to react, not to tremble, not to scream. "We'll inherit everything once the paperwork clears," Jason said into his phone. "Trust me, baby. No one saw." Tessa. He was talking to Tessa. I felt something in my chest rip, and it wasn't just a cracked rib. After a while, the footsteps faded. We didn't move. We didn't speak. Time bent in the silence. Eventually, a crow landed near my boot and cawed as if to ask, "You're still alive?" Robert stirred first. A muffled groan slipped from his lips. His skin was pale, slick with sweat, the kind of pallor I'd seen in trauma patients back when I worked ER shifts. He was hurt worse than he let on. "Can you move?" I whispered. He nodded faintly. Not far, not fast. I scanned the steep slope. Broken branches, a blood trail, shattered shale everywhere. Our path had been brutal, but survivable, barely. I helped him sit up slowly, slipping my arm around his back. "Don't talk," I said. "Save your strength." He leaned into me, every breath shallow. I heard him. The call. I know. I couldn't say more. The truth was like acid in my mouth. Our only child. Our Jason. The boy I had nursed through chickenpox. Taught to ride a bike. Stayed up with during finals. Held after his first heartbreak. He had led us here. To die. We crawled. There's no other word for it. We crawled behind a jagged boulder, shaded by brambles, hidden from view. Every inch was a battle. I bit back sobs as Robert winced and staggered, his breath rattling louder by the hour. Once hidden, I peeled off my jacket and pressed it to his ribs. His body tensed under my hands. "Stay awake," I whispered. "Trying," he muttered, jaw clenched. I looked up at the sky. The sun had dipped low, shadows growing long, temperature falling. No signal, no rescue, no time. But worse than the injuries was the betrayal sitting inside me like poison. "Do you think," Robert began, but coughed instead. I didn't need to hear the rest. "Do you think he planned it for months? Do you think Tessa put him up to it? Do you think we raised a monster?" Eventually, twilight descended. Cold crept in. And still, no help, no hikers, no calls. I reached into my hiking pack, praying for something useful. A protein bar, a flashlight, a half-charged phone, no signal. Then I remembered the voice recorder app I used to transcribe interviews. I opened it, pressed record. We would need proof. Robert drifted in and out of consciousness. His breathing grew worse. I sat curled around him, shielding him from the wind. I whispered prayers into the dark. And then, his whisper came again. "Linda." I leaned close. "I'm here. Don't let them get away with it." "I won't." "Robert's ribs are broken. They need help fast. Shelter doesn't erase betrayal." By sunrise, my knees were torn open, and my throat felt like sandpaper. Robert drifted between lucidity and silence, his head slumped against my shoulder as we hobbled deeper into the woods. Every few feet a miracle, every breath a battle. Then, through the trees, I saw it. An old ranger's cabin, faded wood, a sagging roof, but still standing. "Robert," I whispered, gently shaking him. "There, shelter." He blinked slowly. "Real, very." The door creaked open with a push. Dust flew like flash in the sunlight that streamed through broken blinds. Inside was a rusted cot, a splintered table, and cabinets crawling with spiderwebs, but no people. Safe, I eased Robert down onto the cot. He winced, his shirt soaked in blood. I took a deep breath and assessed what I had: an old towel from my backpack, a tiny camping first aid kit, and a plastic bottle of water. No painkillers, no antibiotics. I tore the towel into strips, soaked one in water, and began cleaning his wounds. "Jesus," he muttered, gritting his teeth. "I know," I whispered, holding back tears. "Just breathe." He tried, and so did I. As I cleaned his side, I saw the swelling and bruising, classic signs of cracked ribs, possibly broken. If one of them punctured,